Krishna is the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it means all attractive. God has all attractive qualities. We're all attracted to beauty, to witty, to fun, to kindness, to love, to compassion. The Supreme Personality of God has all wonderful qualities in full. And if we're lucky, we get a few to a small degree. And if we work on it, we can try and increase it. So we can try and become a bit more kind, a bit more thoughtful, a bit more tolerant, or lots more. And the process of chanting these sacred mantras has the effect of clearing our heart and mind of all the layers of conditioning to make it so that that natural divine love that's in the core of the heart of each one of us, that will manifest more and more. And we will see each other as spiritual beings. So International Yoga Day is actually on Tuesday. It's the 21st. It's the winter equinox for us on Tuesday. But anyway, we thought we'd celebrate it tonight. So Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita, and the first thing that Krishna teaches, the first understanding in this ancient and phenomenal yoga text, is that we are a spiritual being. This body is like a suit of clothes. And when we go into a shop, a clothing shop, you'll see there's all sorts of different types of clothes, right? Different shapes, different colors, different textures, different styles. And if we put on those clothes, it's like we're still the same person, right? We've just put on a different type of gear, right? And it's the same. I'm not sure if any of you have been to dress up, fancy dress up things. Anybody been to one of those things where you've got to wear a different outfit, like an animal or something? Is everyone too shy to say? But I remember going past a place, I don't know if it's still there, it was, would have been Frome Road, I guess, just around, a little bit around from where Target is. It was some sort of fancy dress place, and in the window was like gorilla outfits and stuff. Do anyone remember that little place? Strange little shop, right? But I thought, like if someone put on that outfit, do you know what the first thing would probably do? Do you know what I mean? Like you put on an outfit and you identify with that, right? And so you put on, I don't know, like a sailor's outfit, or I don't know what kind of things people would put on. But you're gonna try and play at least a wee bit of the time, especially when you first put it on. You're gonna try and act like what you think that outfit represents, right? And so that's what happens to us. We identify with this suit of clothes, right? It's in a sense, it's no different than buying one of those outfits in those type of shops. It's like a suit of clothes, and it's really important we don't identify with it, right? And we don't act like, got a gorilla outfit. Okay, I'm a gorilla, We have a human body this time. We have it on its temporary gift, and it's given to the living being, to the pure spirit soul who doesn't belong in this temporary world. It's given to us as a gift to try and make spiritual advancement to any degree, right? So that we don't waste this human form of life. It is so incredibly valuable. There's 8,400,000 different species of life. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita, there's living beings in all sorts of bodies. Govinda's trying to grow veggies at the moment, and there's these creatures have been eating them, and they've found out they're slugs. So there's a living being just like you and me that was once in the spiritual world, like you and me, has somehow or other fallen down. We have our own desires, so we come to the material world, has taken on a human form of life at some point, and has not taken that opportunity afforded by the human form of life and has gone down the evolutionary scale and now is like a snail without a house and eating fresh leaves off newly planted vegetables. So this human life is really, really precious, and we should take it seriously. And any progress that we make, any questioning about who am I, why am I here, what is this world about, where do I fit, where do I belong, what is my real identity, you know. Any kind of questioning like that gives us an opportunity to start moving forward and using this precious gift of a human form of life for the facilities we've been given, right? To actually, we don't want to go down to a slug body. I mean, you know, that's a big drop, right? There's other species a little closer, like, you know, cats and dogs and so on. But so Krishna gives guidance in the ancient yoga text, and we have the benefit of receiving this information that's been handed down since time immemorial by the great masters who don't change the teaching. They adapt it according to time and circumstance, but they don't change the essential teachings. And they give us, Bhagavad Gita for example, they give us this knowledge. They hand down these sacred mantras for our benefit, not for their benefit, right? They make this information available, and they make the mantras available for us. And as much as we like, we can take them and apply them into our daily life. But I can guarantee, if you do, you will experience the fruit of it. Some days we're more spaced out, we're just maybe more distracted, you know, maybe you ate something last night and, you know, your stomach's trying to still digest it and it's harder to focus. But if you just try anyway, right, just try and rest your heart and mind on these sacred mantras. There's different ways that you can practice in your daily life. We teach them all in classes. But, and kirtan, group meditation, is the most powerful of all. We naturally like to sing, we're going to have a dance tonight. Govinda's going to take us through a yoga dance. We naturally like to dance, we like to sing, we like to get together with people, and we can meditate like that, like we are tonight. The dance is going to be super easy, but it's a really nice little yoga dance. We did it today at our yoga day this morning. And the first thing I experienced when I went to kirtan was back in 1978. And before some of you were born here, but you were probably in an old man body or an old lady body somewhere else. We're all eternal, you know, like some people say, oh, you know, that person's an old soul. We're all eternal, right? We're all old souls in that sense, but we're eternally youthful at the same time. We're just taking on different bodies. So the yoga dance is an opportunity for us to relax and let the music and the mantras rest our heart and mind. So like I was saying, when I went to my first kirtan, it was, what struck me was that people were dancing and chanting. This is out in country and out in New Zealand, out of Auckland. And, not out of New Zealand, out of Auckland. Out of New Zealand's in the ocean. But they were chanting, and nobody looked like they cared less about what they looked like, what they sounded like, what they wore, anything, you know. I'd never been to anything where people were just like so uninhibited. And they weren't drunk, and they weren't stoned, they weren't on anything. They were just chanting. And being able to chant and sing without any worries or any concerns. And it was just like, wow. I didn't have a clue what they're doing or why or anything, but I noticed that they all seemed really happy and they were really relaxed, right? They weren't feeling all inhibited. It's like, I never got into the nightclub thing, but people have to usually drink quite a bit or take drugs so that you don't feel really uptight when you go there. It's like you try and dance cool, and it's like cool to one person, it's not going to be cool to somebody else. It's just like such a nerve-wracking thing. Do you remember back to those things? You went somewhere and you tried to be okay, acceptable. But when you chant and dance, you don't have to worry about any of that at all. You can just let your body just move with the music. You completely rest your heart and your mind. And every one of us, we want our heart and mind to be peaceful. And there's so many disturbances these days. There's so many causes of anxiety and stress. But really, if we can understand, we're a spiritual being, it's all temporary. A lot of things we can't change. We can't change the economic situation. We can't change the price of petrol. We can't, We can't change the price of lettuces or whatever, And if you try and do organic gardening, good luck with the slugs. No wonder the price of lettuces is so high. But we can't change those things. So it's like, okay, well, what can I change? I can work on myself. I can rest my heart and mind in these sacred mantras, and I can live in this world like a sage, and still go about my business. I've got a really nice quote I'd like to read. So my spiritual teacher, Jagoguru, wrote or spoke both, common in each of us is a desire for peace and happiness. But this is not possible as long as we are not recognizing the fact that each of us are equal. If we do not see beyond the body, we will not see our absolute equality. When we see that each of us is an eternal spiritual entity, relatives and brothers in the truest sense of the term, then we will become peaceful individually and as a society. There is no other way for human society to become peaceful. So yesterday there was a march in town. I was driving through, and I could hear them chanting, Black Lives Matter. So in the teaching in Bhagavad Gita and the great sages is that we're all equal. It's not black, white, young, old, whatever, all living entities. The colour of the skin is completely irrelevant. The age of the body, the sex of the body, it's all irrelevant. We're all eternal, beautiful, blissful by nature, spiritual beings. And when we're not feeling blissful, which is pretty much the nature of the world, we can know we're not in our natural place, we're not in our natural habitat, we're not at home. And so if we start to feel a little bit of a longing to go home, then that longing will drive us to do our meditation practice daily, resting our heart and mind. It's like this process is not made up. It's not like somebody a few years back decided, we'll do this, and it doesn't have any potency. It has full potency because it comes from the Supreme Person. And it will work to gradually clear our heart and our mind and give us that taste of happiness and peace and divine love that we all seek. We just need to re-establish our relationship with the Divine Supreme Person, and then everything will flow from there. Namaste, thank you so much. You are.